Just another ordinary day at UT.
or two, and then we're headed to Colorado. So, yeah, probably next week.
Duel is a good start, though.
It is? They are?
Really? What a men that 1-1?
We are too. I don't know, I got to double check. They won their first game.
Yeah, so 1-1. They lost the second one.
Oh, that's tough. But they're headed home, so. Switch to the mic. And welcome to Pepin Stadium on the University of Tampa campus. I'm Taylor Storthy, and thank you for joining us tonight for Tampa Spartans soccer. The University of Tampa women's soccer team has had an absolutely electric start to the season. They'll be wrapping up their 3-game home stretch to begin the year tonight at Pepin Stadium against Alabama Huntsville. They started the year defeating the Bucks 3-0 and then upset the number 12 ranked League University Flames 3-0 as well. Tampa, with 6 goals and none conceded to start the year, hope to continue their streak against the Alabama Huntsville Chargers. The Chargers took an opening day loss against McKendree, but defeated Kentucky Wesleyan 2-0 back on Saturday to lead into this midweek matchup. All-time, Tampa is 1-3 against Alabama Huntsville, hoping to make it 2-3, or at worst 1-3-1 by the end of the day today. Here's the starting lineup for each team as we take the field. Tampa wearing their new, I want to call it a checkerboard pattern, or I don't really know, but it's a cool design on their jerseys this year. Red is the primary color, and then a darker version adding a little bit of depth to the shirts as there's kickoff, and Alabama Huntsville send one all the way back to the Tampa back line. In goal for the Spartans, it's the junior from Boca Raton, Florida, number 1, Aiden Smith. The Florida Gulf Coast transfer has had a stellar start to her Spartan career last season and has continued with a flawless 2024. Also on defense, we've got Sophia Libman, Zoe Whitten, and Sophia Karlholm. That trio has been shut down all year, and they'll be looking to do the same today as the Chargers still fighting for the ball on the left-hand side. Tampa's going to win it right back as they hold it, now passing it around the back line, likely looking to flip it to the left. Sydney Dennis, number 10, the senior from Lithia, Florida, will be looking to spearhead the attack, as will Mimi Cronquist, who is out on the right wing today. But it looks like it's going to go out to Sydney Dennis on the left wing. Will that stay in play for a cross? No, it's just a little bit too far forward. Goal kick for the Chargers as we enter the second minute. Alongside Cronquist and Dennis, we've also got Kate Russell, the junior, also a Florida Gulf Coast transfer in the lineup, and Allie Wold, the freshman from Sylvan Lake, Michigan. Allie's a flexible player, able to play in the attack and on the defense. We'll see how she can make an impact in today's game. We also got Lauren Holschauer, Kendall Gooner, and Tally O'Leary rounding out the Spartans' starting lineup. The Chargers with the ball in some open space, but Tampa's going to win it right back. Meanwhile, for the Chargers, they've got the sophomore goalie, Cece Zopa, from Nolensville, Tennessee, starting in goal. The defense, they have Emily Labus, the number 9, Morgan Snyder, the 14, Campbell Tarantino, the number 17, and Katie Ann Klingel, the graduate from Huntsville, Alabama, in their defense. Meanwhile, they've got Tristan Del Toro in the midfield, Carmen Endicott, Jayla Gillespie on the attack. They've also got Myelin Meta in the midfield, the senior from San Sebastian, Spain. They've also got Carly White and Morgan Snyder in the lineup as well. And rounding out, the only people I hadn't mentioned, Olivia Marlowe, the number 21. Chargers get a free kick right here. It's been back and forth between both teams, and Tampa has committed the foul, and now they'll be setting up for a Chargers free kick. Looking to take it will be the number 14, Morgan Snyder. Snyder's a junior from Pelham, Alabama. That's a good kick by Snyder. Headed into the box. Is there a little bit of room? No, running out to get to it. It's Aiden Smith. Good hustle as Carly White had a little bit of space, but not enough to get to the ball in time. The leading goal scorers this season for the Chargers in just the 2 games are Sabrina De Silva and Jayla Gillespie. De Silva, the junior from Sao Paulo, isn't in the starting lineup today, but Gillespie, the junior from Decatur, Alabama, is. Meanwhile, the Spartans' top scorers are Mimi Cronquist, Sydney Dennis, Allie Wold, Nellie Brinus, and Brooke Kittner. 3 of those players are in the starting lineup, being Dennis, Wold, and Cronquist, although you will imagine we'll see the sophomore, Brooke Kittner, later in the game, and Nellie Brinus, the senior from Sweden, later in the game, too. This season, Tampa's had some pretty strong depth in terms of their attack. A lot of players that they can rely upon, which is very useful for the Spartans. And now in behind is the 14, Mimi Cronquist. Maybe not enough room for a one-on-one chance on goal, but we'll have room for a cross. Blocked, corner kick, Spartans. First corner kick of the game. Good job by Campbell Tarantino to track her down and get in front of the cross just in time. Very dangerous chance for the Spartans as we're entering the 4th minute of action at Pepin Stadium. This is the first game of action this weekend for Tampa. Leading into the weekend, however, Tampa is not, or the women's team won't be at home. They'll be on the road in Colorado. Now here's a cross into the box. And by into the box, I mean on top of the goal. Goal kick as that missed its target. Good effort on the corner kick. A lot of air on the cross, but the placement imperfect. That'll give the Chargers a chance to reset with possession. Out to the left. Down the line. But that's going to be an easy pickup for the Spartans defense. And sending it back to the goalie is the 24, Kendall Gooner. Kendall's a sophomore from Monument, Colorado, and previously at UTSA. So Gooner will have a homecoming trip this weekend in Colorado. And at this time of the year, Colorado is still, I think, a relatively warm temperature. But as the season progresses, the temperatures there should definitely drop. And that's where having the Florida games are better in the winter because, warmer temperatures, but in the summer, still dealing with some of the humidity. But we're at that crossing over point. Not terrible weather at the moment. We still may need a hydration break. We'll have to wait and see as the Chargers send a through ball that's not cleared super cleanly, but does get away from the surging attacker down the Chargers' left flank. And good dummy to bait the tackle from the number 8. Jayla Gillespie overcommitted, and Libman was able to win the ball back for the Spartans. And now this long ball will go out for a Chargers throw-in. Morgan Snyder ready to go with the throw-in. Looks like she's been the left back today, but obviously when it comes to most defenders, if you're on the wings, you'll probably be playing an impact on the attack as well. Now, Spartans putting some pressure on the back line, but the Chargers able to clear it up the field with some short passing. Both teams back and forth in terms of possession. Spartans have had 1 or 2 more chances, but the Chargers have looked closer today than some of the other Spartan opponents. Last week, Tampa, of course, had the upset against the Lee Flames, who are ranked, but this time it's flipped around. The Spartans are now ranked. I believe in the polls, we are number 11 in the nation. A great start to our season. We'll see if we can stay in the rankings as the year goes on. Most Spartan sports have found a lot of success, and women's soccer may be able to join them this season. Of course, Tampa volleyball also top of the nation after a clean sweep of the Tampa Classic. They'll be on the road to Texas for some matchups. If you want to watch them, those will be on the Sunshine State Conference. Actually, I was going to say those will be on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network, but they're road games, so they'll probably be on an alternate viewing area. But, of course, you can always keep up with the games with Tampa Live Stats, just like you can keep up with the games with Tampa Live Stats for this matchup, which is now in its 8th minute, and the Chargers will bring it out to the number 8 on that right wing. But Tampa putting pressure on the ball. They'll win it right back. Good Spartan defense for the moment, but here come the Chargers taking it right back. Tampa's got 6 players in defense, though. Nothing is open for Alabama Huntsville. Down the line, but no one was there to immediately get it. The Chargers are going to let it roll out of play, and that's going to go out for a Huntsville throw-in. Tampa still putting pressure on the attack.
This is so much easier than men's. Yeah. They don't have substitutes.
Cleared away. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Chargers. Went last off of Libman. Now to the middle of the park. Back out wide. Here's a long through ball by Snyder. Sent the other way. A couple of volleys in a row. And the short passing from the Chargers opening play up. Pass to the middle for their number 10. Finds a teammate. Huntsville bringing numbers forward. Tampa have got a lot of players in defense. You can kind of see how their team is a 4-1-4-1 formation. On attack, this can turn into a 4-3-3. On a defense, they can drop into a more compact stance. Maybe even a 4-5-1, if you will. Here's some space on the wing for the Chargers. Looking for some room. Cross is blocked. Throw in for Alabama Huntsville. Alabama Huntsville scored one of their 2 goals in the first half so far this season and the other goal in the second half. They've only conceded their 1 goal in the second half, but of course, still very early in the first half, as that shot was just a little bit high. Goal kick coming up for the Spartans. The defender had it covered, but didn't get a touch or a block on it. So here we go with 10 minutes played here in the first half. The clouds do not look very friendly on the University of Tampa campus. That's going to be cleared away. Chargers stay in possession. However, it is a pretty warm day, 85 degrees and 92 degrees real feel. The Spartans bench getting warmed up, but obviously don't expect too many substitutions until the later stages of the first half. As the Chargers hold on to possession. And now it's played down the right wing. And we're going to get a throw-in coming up for the Chargers as that clearance gets away. Last few minutes, Alabama Huntsville have been in possession, but we'll see if the Spartans can get it back and spur a counterattack. Here comes Alabama Huntsville now. Now Chargers with some short passing. And that's a long clearance. That should be picked up by the Chargers goalie with relative ease. Looks like Tampa at the moment looking for a counterattacking long ball style of play. It's worked out for them in the past. They've had some good counterattacks. But for now, it's also given the opportunity for the Chargers to hold on to possession. They'll lose it right there as that goes out of play. Good effort by Morgan Snyder. But that'll be a throw-in for the Spartans. It'll be taken by the 14 of Mimi Cronquist. Actually, sorry, no. She's setting it up for Sophia Libman. Libman with a few steps forward with the throw-in. And now here come the Chargers, trying to slow things down and set up an attack. Good pressure to force a long ball forward. Almost finds its target, forces a quick clearance, and Tampa is once again not going to get the throw-in. So far, I believe, Alabama Huntsville have won every single throw-in today, apart from, I think, the previous one. They've done a good job of winning possession at the sidelines, and let's see if they'll continue that trend. Plenty of time to go, though. We're only 12 minutes through the first half. No offsides on throw-ins, so they can send a player down the wing. And we're going to get a corner kick coming up. First of the game for Alabama Huntsville. That went off one of the Spartan defenders, who was making a good and fair challenge on the ball. Looks like it'll be the number 7 from the Chargers taking it. That would be Carmen Endicott. A lot of players crowding the keeper at the front post. Falls in behind, and that is going to be sent behind the goal for a goal kick. That shot went wide. That was a bit of a dangerous opportunity. They got in front of the low cross. And whenever you're able to get it into the box and cause some chaos, something can open up. That's how the Spartans scored their first goal of the season off of Sidney Dennis. They brought a little bit of action in the box, and with the right deflections, Dennis was able to find the back of the net and start the scoring against Christian Brothers. Tampa went on to win 3-0 as they then found more organic chances over the rest of the game. This could be one of those organic chances right here. Cross into the post, headed away, but Tampa's going to be able to keep on top of this ball as the clearance won't go too far, but now Tampa's going to clear it to stall the counterattack. Here comes Alabama Huntsville once again. Good attack, though, from the Spartans. But nothing came to fruition that time around. We're still level, about to hit the 15th minute to play. Now, the Chargers bring it forward. They found some space in the Tampa defense. But that back line is acting like an elite wall. Doing a great job of making a lot of clearances. I was mentioning with Alex Trepper in the previous game that he said that Tampa's looking to be a more flexible attacking team this year. But obviously, defense is always key. And sometimes they say the best offense is a good defense. And so far today, even though the Chargers have had more opportunities to put pressure on the Spartans, well, the offense has been benefiting from this great defense. Another big clearance from the Spartans. They're looking for some space forward. Libman looking for a one-on-one challenge. Gets the ball knocked right by her. Good movement from the attacker. Whipped into the box. Headed away. And Tampa's going to lose that in a pretty dangerous situation. Although the touch to try to get past the Tampa defender by Jayla Gillespie is going to knock the ball away.
Okay, well, fouls, what do you want first? The person who committed it or the person who committed it? And then the person who threw it.
The Chargers have it in the back line, and they'll send it all the way back to CC Zopa.
Yeah, very good. Are they lying?
Back in 2023, Tampa traveled to Alabama Huntsville and suffered defeat against the Chargers, 1-0. But the year before, Tampa hosted the Chargers and won 3-0. Tampa's 1-1 all-time at home against the Chargers. They're 0-2 when traveling on the road against them. Their previous two matchups were back in 2002 and 2003 before they've had matchups back-to-back this season. October 22nd last year was their last meeting. Tampa is going to get it in the midfield and send it all the way forward. That's going to get by a defender, but Zopa will have plenty of time to pick it up.
I think the coach should ask them if they're there and someone very highly rated.
Imagine that eventually Huntsville will also have their players warming up, but again, still plenty of time to go here in this first half. Both teams not going to be super aggressive with substitutions early. Now Dennis out wide, but that heavy touch is going to let the Chargers pick the ball right back up. Here comes Libman to keep the ball in play, though. Played out to Cronquist. Played through but blocked. Good job to move the ball up to the head and head it forward. And now Cronquist back to Libman. Libman challenged for the ball, and that's going to go out for a Spartans throw-in. Good pressure on the ball by Libman to force it out of play and keep it away from Myelin Menda. Now Meta on the ball, sent out to the right. Smith is going to get to it. And now Tampa's going to go the other way. Long ball. That's going to get behind the Chargers defense, but once again, not be anything too dangerous. It'll simply be a goal kick for the Chargers. You might see some of the lights turning on at the Jenkins Health and Technology building that is right in front of the field from the stream camera point of view. The extension to that building was completed about 2 years ago and hosts a lot of classes. And honestly, there's probably some Spartan students in class at the moment. All they have to do is take a look out the window and they get to see some action here at Pepin Stadium. I never had a class where I was able to see one of the matches at Pepin Stadium throughout my Spartans' tenure as a student. But there's a pretty good opportunity for students out there to do so. When the camera pans over, actually you can see it at the moment, as the Chargers now go down that right flank. You also see the Morsani building that holds some of the premier dining options on campus. As there is a shot that is off target. Smith won't even have to chase it. Goal kick coming up for the Spartans, but yeah, the big story in Morsani Hall is last year the arrival of the Aussie Grill, sponsored by Outback, where Tampa students are able to enjoy some extra cuisine. And I know it's been a favorite for some Spartan students. And it's always good to get a little more food options on campus. I do love the food options on campus, across campus. My favorites being the Rathskeller and the Fanta Grill. It's always good to have new options to try. That's why I kind of feel a little bit jealous for Spartan students that continue to have these new opportunities. Now, down the left side, here comes Tampa. Through ball into space. It's going to stay with the Spartans. Now through to Dennis, but that's going to be picked up by Zopa just in time. Close play. I believe Dennis was onside as well. 20 minutes gone in the first half. We've got 25 to go. Still tied up and not a lot of serious chances from either team. 3 shots from the Chargers, none from the Spartans. And here we go, turning the ball around. So here come the Chargers once again. They've slowed play down. That's going to fall to the middle of the field and now out to the left. Now back to Zopa. The Chargers have held on to possession, and you could definitely say they've dominated the midfield throughout the day. But Tampa's defense has prevented any high percentage chances, and they've had some dangerous counterattacks. Especially as play progresses and we get deeper into the game, I expect counterattacks to become more potent as the Chargers win a throw-in. Tampa players running up and down, still getting warm and still getting ready. This wraps up their home stretch to start the season. Conference play begins on September 25 for the Spartans. They open their year at Daytona Beach. And they've got a lot of matchups against SSC foes. Now the Spartans win the ball back. They've got it in the midfield. Tampa with some space. Trying to play it out wide. That's a costly pass. Was trying to find Libman. Did not get enough power thanks to the challenge. And here comes the through ball now for Alabama Huntsville. That's going to hit into the booth. Or went on top by the seats. I can't really tell. Throw in for the Chargers after the clearance. We are very much seated right next to the recently repaved track of Pepin Stadium. We've got ourselves a good view of the action and a good view from that previous clearance that was headed our way. Down the line for the Chargers, and now a spin. They have some space. Cross into the box. Misses everyone, and Tampa's going to be able to send it away. Second clearance attempt works. It's out to Cronquist. Short pass. Tampa finding some space. And once again, a through ball, but Dennis has some space on the wing. That's going to go a little too far in front. Will be a throw-in down the line. If Tampa sends some players forward, they may be able to put some pressure on Alabama Huntsville for this upcoming throw-in. So ultimately, that chance did not go in vain. And indeed, here come the Spartans pressing a little bit forward to put some pressure on the ball. Played to the box. And the Chargers going to win it and send it downfield. They've dealt well with the Spartan pressure on their half of the field, but the Spartan defense has made a lot of big stops on the other third. Back to Aiden Smith. Play it out short. Now down the left flank. Midfield, play through. That's going to go out of play. And that will be a throw-in, likely headed the other way. Yes, the Chargers get it right back. Down the wing. Here come the Chargers. Now down to the right wing. Good challenge in the ball. That's going to go off the 8 for a Spartans throw-in. No foul on the play. A fair challenge. Jayla Gillespie, I don't know if she was feeling that was a foul or not. But if she does, I think she should remember the words of Bruce Wozniak. You can't argue with City Hall. So far today, both teams pretty clean. That was not a foul either, although that time I am more inclined to say that might have warranted a whistle from the referee. Hard challenge, but the referees said it was fair. Good effort from Zoe Whidden nonetheless. The freshman from Denver, Colorado, doing a good job as what looks to be the defensive midfielder, playing as maybe an anchor role on the defense. Whistle goes. We will get our first hydration break of the game, even though the temperature isn't as high with 20:23 left to go. Oh, and the clock resets. Oh, no, never mind. Substitution. He was pointing to the sidelines. That was a little confusing. Gillespie out of the game for now. Michelle Tortorelli is in, the freshman from Michigan. It's actually Tortelli, or Michaela Tortelli. Tortelli is yet to get an assist or goal this season, but there's been no assist so far for Alabama Huntsville. Everyone's looking for their first assist of the season. Now here come the Chargers. Maybe they can find an assist right here, but no, Carlom's going to pick it up on defense. Great work there by the Swedish senior, who's done a good job captaining the back line for the Spartans. Now it'll be played back to Zopa, and here comes Alabama Huntsville now going the other way. Now some open space for Tampa. Looking for space. Just loses the ball, but barely holds onto it. Alabama Huntsville player goes down. Play continues for the Spartans in possession. Moving to the inside. Long-range effort. Zopa will pick that up cleanly. Still on the ground is Carmen Endicott. And she's able to continue, but noticeably limping. There's the whistle before they can reset. Endicott was able to get up, but now stays down. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Was on the receiving end of a challenge just a minute ago. We'll be back in just a second with 18:44 to go in the first half. Play resumes at the University of Tampa. For now, Endicott is headed to the bench for Caleb Batchelor. Hopefully, nothing too serious for Endicott after going down. And the clock yet to restart as Tampa brings it down the wing. There's a lofted through ball to Zopa. Clears it over the net barely. Corner kick Tampa. That was a routine play for Zopa to pick up, but the bounce just getting over her head almost turned into disaster for the Chargers. That might count as an inadvertent shot for the Spartans, but they will get a corner kick out of it. That's sometimes a struggle for goalies. You know, you're only 5'7". Myself, I would have trouble on that play as well. I'm only 5'8". But heads up by Zopa just to get it in time. A lot of Spartans waiting at the far post. Whipped into the box. Headed towards goal. Picked up by Zopa. No Spartan was ready to get on the top of it. Now played out to the right. Libman. Good control on the ball. But that pass is just going to get deflected away. The Chargers entering some space, but 4 Spartan defenders are already back. They're not giving a lot of room for Alabama Huntsville to really continue this attack. The Chargers and Spartans have had some good duels across other sports. A few seasons back, if you're a fan of Chargers softball, you may have remembered their regional showdown that lasted 16 innings. One of the longest matchups in Tampa Spartans softball history. Crossed into the box. That gets a little too far in front of Dennis, and I believe might have been Cronquist further forward. Actually, it was Cronquist with the missed cross, picked up by Zopa. And here we go with about 30 minutes gone, 15 minutes with a little bit of change remaining until halftime. Long ball. Into space, cleared away. Cronquist. Now a clearance by Libman. And that is very good distance on the clearance by Libman. Dennis now working into some space. Gets past one defender, looking for a way past another. Cross. Off target. Good on-ball move, though, by Sidney Dennis. Actually, the whistle went, even though it was going right to Zopa. She'll be able to reset it with a free kick position. I wonder if offsides may have been the call or something. Anyway, down the right flank now for the Chargers as they bring it back up. Tampa's looked a little stronger over the last few minutes, but overall, these teams have been pretty equal in the game. No one's really been able to get any advantage in terms of possession or shots on target. Still some on-ball pressure. No foul. Tampa's going to win it back off that challenge. Long-range effort, but offline behind the net. We've only had one foul today within the first 30 minutes. And that trend has continued as we officially hit the 30-minute mark for this stage of the game, the first half. As now the ball is going to be won in space. Spartans send it out wide. Cronquist can't find a teammate, but it is going to fall in through for some Spartans. They're barely going to lose it, though. Ooh, there's a bit of a rough challenge. Free kick now coming up for the Chargers. Second actual foul of the game. And yeah, that one definitely was a foul. Missed contact on the ball and knocked the person over. You do like the effort from Lauren Holshower, but a little bit too much that time around. As now play resets. You can look from the aerial view from our stream camera. You see how the formation looks. 4-3-3 on attack. 4-1-4-1 on defense. Alabama Huntsville now, the ball in the middle of the field. They'll play it down to the left side, playing out wide. And looking for some room down the wings. They'll slow it down as Tampa do have pretty much the entirety of their defense back. You do not want to get caught off guard. Here comes Cronquist, knocked forward. You can contrast that to how the defense usually goes for the Chargers. They really have only their two center backs sitting back. A lot of other people putting some pressure on the ball. Good tackle to win that by Sidney Dennis. Dennis has the freedom to go into the midfield, roaming all around like a false nine or a Raumdeuter in the Spartan offense. She's got the vision of the field. Oh, good move to dispossess the defender. Good move to hold on to the ball. Dispossessed right at the edge of the box, and the Chargers going to win it right back. Here comes Tampa now, coming back on the counterattack. And here comes a throw-in headed the other way for Alabama Huntsville. And we do have some changes getting ready. Tampa making their first substitution of the game. We've already seen an injury substitution for Huntsville, and they did make one a little bit earlier than that.
17 for 26.
Onto the game for the Spartans now is Lindsay Emerson, the sophomore from Voorhees, New Jersey. She'll be replacing Talia O'Leary, the graduate from Boca Raton. Lofted into the box. Falls to the far post. Scramble for the ball. And that'll be a free kick for Smith and the Spartans as there's a foul drawn. Likely offsides, can't really tell. Yep, the flag was up, so it is offsides.
Yeah, it's offside.
I don't think there's a.
No, it should be. Just, if you go free kick and then the reason will be offside.
Long ball up here from the Spartans. Cleared away by Alabama Huntsville. Here comes the right flank. The Chargers moving into space. Lofted into the box. Cleared away. Good defense at the far post by Sophia Libman. Guarding her player and making a stop.
They give you the offside option?
Alabama Huntsville gaining some momentum here in the 34th minute. Still about 10 minutes to go.
When is it? November 28th. I don't really want to go. I don't know.
Throw in Chargers.
I hate weddings. Sound like me. I hate it, Michael. Ha!
Good challenge in the midfield for the Spartans to win the ball back. They're going to turn the ball around. Here's a through ball into space. Carlholm gets in front. Excellent acceleration from Carlholm to get to it and force the Charger throw-in. 11 minutes to go.
They play Friday.
Women's always better than our men's for sure.
I don't think so. I think our men are pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen them play
Cleared.
for last season.
Throw-in coming up for the Spartans. They'll do a good job on defense right here.
The men had a better record than the women last year.
Time winding down in the first half. Tampa ready to make some changes.
So scared of the ball. That's like how Huntsville.
No changes being made just yet, but you do imagine there will be a few more before you hit halftime. And now Limman starting the Spartans attack. Here's a long ball to the center. That's going to get past everyone all the way back to Sopa, and she's going to be able to pick it up with plenty of room to spare. And now Alabama Huntsville ready to send it the other way.
Does Ella play soccer? Does she play anything? Oh, good art.
Played down the middle. Dennis looking for some room. Dennis playing it out wide. And now we'll see if that's going to be headed to Libman. Yes, it is. A lot of Spartans forward now for Libman. Opening some space. Can't find Cronquist. And that will go out for a Spartans throw-in. And it'll stay with Tampa. The number of chances each team will have is going down for the half. This is one of the better ones for the Spartans so far if they can find a cross into the box. For now, though, they're going to send it back to the defense. Here's a long through ball. Headed away. Good job on the defensive end from the Chargers. Can't tell who that was, but I would not be surprised if that was Emily Labus, the 5'8 defender. Or Katie Ann Klingel, the 5'9 defender. tallest player for the Chargers is the 5'11 Kendall Jenkins, the redshirt junior from Milton, Georgia. Now cleared away from the box. Tampa losing it up top. Here comes Alabama Huntsville going the other way, and here's a very high lofted through ball. Here come the Spartans playing from out wide, and now back to the goalie. Aiden Smith on the ball. Aiden Smith going to send it out of play. Did not have a teammate open. Chargers get the ball in a dangerous position. The tallest Spartan player, that is not a goalie, that of course being Aiden Smith and Leah Duhan being the taller players, is the freshman Brianna Pacholski from Huntsville, North Carolina. She is the lone 5'9 player on the Spartan side. Tampa also has a handful of 5'8", 5'7 players. They definitely expect to always be active throughout set pieces, as that's lofted behind the goal for a Tampa goal kick. 8 minutes to go in the half.
What is it? Oh, yeah. We had 17 for 26.
Down the line, that's going to roll to the Chargers bench, throw-in for Alabama Huntsville right around the midfield line. We don't have the exact possession percentages in terms of our stat keeping, but I'd say it's been roughly 55-45 for the Chargers with a slight advantage. Tampa has held more possession as the periods continued. As now going the other way, here comes Alabama Huntsville. Throw-in for the Chargers again, this time right next to the Spartans bench. Actually, nope. Flip it around, vice versa. It's the Alabama Huntsville bench on the left, the Tampa bench on the right. That's going to open some space for Alabama Huntsville. Good challenge to clear the ball away. Spartan defenders, even though they got behind one of them, they didn't get behind the other two. Carlholm heads it forward. Very clean header by Carlholm. Good distance to get to it. Didn't even need to jump, just was able to elevate the body slightly. And now here come the Chargers. They are waiting for the Spartans to press on the ball to pick it up. No, actually they're going to play it out short as Tampa's fine with them, bringing it up slowly. Not a lot of urgency at the moment in terms of pressing for Tampa. Of course, we still got 45 minutes left to go, even once the final 6 minutes comes to a close here at Pepin Stadium for the first half. Both teams have plenty of chances to get on the board for their first goal of the night. Tampa hoping not to concede their first of the season. Alabama Huntsville hoping to not concede their second of the season. Both teams have had some high-scoring and low-scoring affairs. I mentioned last year was a 1-0 defeat for the Spartans against the Chargers on the road. Wonder if that trend will stay true today or if Tampa can get some revenge this year at Pepin Stadium. It is great for the Spartans to be nationally ranked early in the year, and we'll see if that progresses by the end of this week. The Spartans having a few more matches still to go afterwards as they begin a trip in Colorado.
Tampa's 16 for 14.
Kelly Nobles enters the game, replacing Mimi Cronquist. Cronquist has had a solid first half, but now it'll be a chance for the 16 ready to go as it's going to go the other way.
28 for 10 and 4 for 29.
Haley Bedingfield enters the game for Katie Ann Klingel, and the number 28 Taylor Tibbs will replace Mylan Meta. Good first half from Meta so far, but we'll take a quick breather. Believe the rule is that if you get substituted in the first half, you got to take a breather for the rest of the 45 until the second half when you can come back into the game. That's why you'll see in the second half more substitutions, but the first half, just a few of them closer to the end of the period. Till Newman's mentioned that he actually feels that it's better not to be as aggressive early on with substitutions because players are usually getting into the flow of the game at the start of the game. Now, Sydney Dennis, shot from outside the box, bounces off the elbow. Tampa trying to appeal for handball, won't get it. There's a rough challenge, no foul. And we will get a corner kick for the Spartans. That goes out. There was a ball hitting around the arm and elbow. It was a very close call. Tampa was hoping for a handball. Refs didn't say no. And then a one-on-one challenge led to a collision. Once again, refs didn't say no. But for the Spartans players, it's the old saying, you can't argue with City Hall. And Tampa does win a corner kick out of the affair, so they'll have a lot of people ready to go in the box. Whipped in. Far post. Headed up. Headed up again. 2 players going down. Free kick. They're going to say it was on the Spartan player. I don't know if that was necessarily the fairest ruling, because it felt like the Spartan player was just standing her ground and the other player causing collision. But of course, that's also a controversial call if it's flipped the other way and it's a penalty. No card, maybe a warning from the referee. Anyway, Chargers going to restart, and we've still got about 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go until halftime. Finally getting a handful of foul calls here, but for the most part, these teams able to play it out and really keep the flow of the game going. Sort of a fluid back and forth, only interrupted by the handful of throw-ins and the occasional whistles we hear. Not a surprise to hear more of the fouls being called during those collisions, and especially when you're setting up for corner kicks, free kicks. A lot of chaos in the box. Now Libman looking to cause some more. Cleared, but nice job getting in front of the ball to deflect it away. However, the number 4 who made that good stop is dispossessed. Played out wide, offsides, just a few steps in forward. But just a minute ago, Haley Bedingfield. Good flexibility to reach out and tip the ball away from the Sophia Libman cross. Free kick coming up for the Chargers after the offside ruling. It'll be taken by Sopa, who's had an active first half. Neither her or Smith have needed to make saves, but the goalies have had to be ready for when both teams have put pressure on the ball. Now Limon looking to put some pressure on Taylor Tibbs. But good short passing from the Chargers will send it far forward. That's going to be picked up cleanly by Gooner. Throw in down the line. And Sopa will pick it up. Actually, it's going to go out for a corner kick beforehand. Tampa getting a late opportunity from a set piece. 120 seconds until halftime. In case you're unfamiliar with D2 soccer, you're probably familiar if you're a fan of the Chargers or Spartans. There's no additional time. We end right when the clock hits 0. So, corner kick coming in. Down in the box, no foul called. Chargers get on top of it and cleared away. Not a bad idea. 2 players, however, able to dispossess the Spartans attacker. But Carlom's going to get to the ball on the counterattack and now send it up for herself. Played down the wing, but that's going to go right to a Chargers defender. And now she's going to send it down the wing as well. Ooh, just takes one little bounce in front of the defender, was turning and couldn't stay on her feet. Tampa, ready to resume with possession. Now, to the Tampa back line, played upwards, back, and forth.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Limon, out wide. Dennis onto the ball. Dennis gets dispossessed, and now going the other way. Here come the Chargers. You heard it from Dwayne not about 10, 15 seconds ago. There's a minute to win it. 40 seconds to go in the half. The Chargers getting set up for what will probably be the final attack. Now the number 14, Morgan Snyder, getting set for the throw-in. Tampa might have a chance that they can jump on a quick counterattack. Header, it's going to go out for the Chargers again. That'll probably limit the counterattacking possibilities. A goal entering the break would be huge. We've seen buzzer beaters before at Pepin Stadium. It's usually, however, the Spartans able to force them. But now the Chargers are going to send it back. Looks like they'll be content with letting the clock expire and keeping a tie game until the second half of action. So, a back and forth start to the game, but no team has been able to get an early advantage. No shots on target from anyone, 8 shots in total. Tampa, Alabama, Huntsville remain tied. We'll see in 15 minutes for the final 45 of action for the third matchup of Tampa Spartans women's soccer. And we're back at the University of Tampa's Pepin Stadium. I'm Taylor Storthy. Thank you for tuning in on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. More action between the Alabama Huntsville Chargers and Tampa Spartans set to get underway. Your 11th ranked Spartans will start out with the ball after a quiet first half for both teams with a few shots, but not a lot of serious attempts on goal. Both teams now ready to go for the second half of the game. I was actually able to get on the field during halftime and have some fun with a game of Around the World and a couple of shots on goal, so I could really get into the feel of the game that these players are in. And obviously those players are in a lot better physical condition than me because I'm a little bit winded after 10 minutes of action, and some of these players are ready for their second 45-minute stints on the field. Now, Tampa looks a little more ready out of the gates as they bring it down the left wing and played to the back line. Last time I played soccer at a full level in terms of full games was back in middle school, as there's a foul now for the Spartans on a free kick. Number 7 gets a warning from the referee off the foul. No card there, but it was good to get onto the field again. And very nice weather out there for soccer as well. Not too hot, pretty just nice and warm temperatures as we continue now with a kick into the box coming up. And that's going to be headed away. Didn't go super far in the box. Pass into Sydney Dennis. Dennis in a dangerous position. She is a step offside, though, so it'll be a free kick coming up for the Chargers.
Same people who ended the half inning said.
But 7's not on.
For who? Them?
Yeah, 7 for them is not on. She's on 5th.
Who do you have for them? 7.
In place of 12 is on the field. 12, 10, 3.
Oh, wait. 7. I got 7.
Now played through. And Tampa's going to now turn it around. Spartans send it out to the left. Lofted into the box. Picked up by the goalie. And now being able to turn around will be Cece Zopa, who's had a pretty good start to the game, a good first half getting in front of a few of the chances. Something she'll be hoping to do as the second half continues. She's seen a few shots from the Spartans, but none of them have been within her reach to make saves on. Tampa with no shots on targets yet. Chargers with no shots on targets yet. Down the line, headed up, and now picked up in the middle of the field. This time, good footwork by the 18. Gets dispossessed, goes down, no foul. You do like the ability from Allie Wold there, and she's right back up after losing the ball. Here come the Chargers again, playing it to the middle of the field. They've also got a 4-player back line. And they'll send it a little bit closer.
Not if the NCAA sponsors the sport.
Down the wide. Knocked away. And now threw down the wing. Picked up on the left side. Cross. Picked up outside the box by the Spartans. I believe that's Wold dropping a little further from the midfield. I don't think Sydney Dennis is on the field at the moment, as this is cleared all the way out to the left. Throw-in coming up for Alabama Huntsville. Tampa putting pressure on the ball. And here come the Chargers, headed down to the left. Space outside the box, shot, picked up by the goalie, and CC Zopa able to send the ball the other way. So the Chargers getting the first shot on target in the game for themselves, but it's an easy save by Aiden Smith. Smith looking to send it down the left-hand side. cleared down the line. That is going to go and stay in play. Very long through ball. Tampa now trying to bring it up, but the Chargers the last few minutes have been in control. 5 minutes gone in the second half. We got 40 minutes of action still to go. Foul on the Spartans, a little physical in the midfield. And the Chargers going to play it really quickly. Played through. Into the box. That's going to go out for a goal kick. Tampa's going to win it right back. So, Aiden Smith going to reset play by sending the ball far upfield. Another through ball now for Tampa. That's deflected forward. This could be dangerous at the edge of the box for the Spartans. Long range effort offline. Good attempt. Had a little bit of space, but the 7th Spartan shot is going to go out for a goal kick. Here comes the Chargers looking to bring it up, but they're going to lose the ball in a dangerous position. Tampa's got it right back on the throw-in now. Sending it across the field. Out to the right. Looking for some space. And now here comes Huntsville looking for some space again. They'll play it back to their back line. They've held more possession today, but have had a few less opportunities as Tampa has been a little more aggressive on the counterattack. Spartans throwing now the other way. Huntsville pushing the back line for the Spartans, but it's cleared away. Good defense from Tampa. They almost were able to win the ball in a dangerous position, but it's going to get knocked out of play for another Tampa throw-in. Both teams pretty evenly matched, and while Tampa still continuing their strong start to the season, you definitely wonder if the Chargers can enter national ranked territory after a performance like this as well. Question will be whether these teams stay level or one of these teams finds the difference maker, finds the go-ahead goal. Given how these teams have played defense, it might only take one to win this game. But except for one of the 4 matchups these teams have had this year, there have been multiple. Now, ball into the box. Shot offline. Goal kick coming up for Huntsville. Dangerous chance for the Spartans. They picked it up in a loose area. That's going to go out for a goal kick. And now the Chargers can take a deep breath as that opportunity is not capitalized upon. And again, thank you for tuning in, whether you're a Spartans fan or a Chargers fan. Friday night action at Pepin Stadium is set to continue with their men's soccer team making their home debut. They've had a couple of games so far in the season on the road, but they'll be headed home for a fun action Friday under the lights. Now into the box again. Tampa with some space. Shot. Blocked. Get a little bit of room. Blocked again. And now the Chargers able to clear the danger. Tampa once again very threatening on the previous attack. But for now it's the number 7 spearheading the move from the Chargers. Tampa can clear it away. You do like the effort though from Carmen Endicott. And good to see Endicott back in the game after going down via injury earlier. Foul on the play on the Spartans. Player goes down. Whistle goes. Free kick coming up. So, dangerous position here for Alabama Huntsville. The number 10 taking it for Huntsville. That's Malin Meta. Or Mylan Meta, my bad. Lofted into the box. Tampa clears away. And Tampa's going to get on top of it after the 21 tried to head it forward. Wold looking for space on the left wing. That's a bit of a shove. Free kick coming up for the Chargers. A little too aggressive, but again, good effort by Wold. Free kick coming up for Alabama Huntsville. Now here come the Chargers, looking to get into space. Through ball, blocked. Good defense there from Tampa. 12 minutes gone at the Pepin Stadium. We're in the 47th minute to play. Or sorry, 57th minute to play. Second half of action. Continuing. And Tampa remaining strong on defense. Now the back line trying to find out what to do. Tampa's going to get that long ball. But that clearance isn't clean. It's over to Endicott. Whipped across. Cleared away from the box. I think the attacker might have been offside. But either way, Chargers going to get a throw in, and it's right next to the Tampa bench. Ooh, that's a missed play from the Chargers. Tampa's going to get the ball back, and they've got some room. But no one's ready to go up the field, and that's going to be one right back by Alabama Huntsville. Maybe a wasted opportunity there for the Spartans, but still plenty of time to go. Still the opening stages of the second half. Played into the box. A little bit of room outside, looking for a cross. Whipped in. Headed away. And great clearance from the Spartans. As now that'll fall to the Chargers back line. The 21 has it on the wing. Quick, short passing to find Endicott out to the right. Endicott cut to the inside. Ooh, good spin, but is knocked off the ball. Foul is called in the play, though. I think after a more lenient first half, the referee wants to make sure players aren't getting too physical. I will say that I might need a forward access advice. I'm not 100% sure if the foul was the right call there. Here comes Endicott, ready to go with a free kick. Two-player Spartan wall. The Spartans have had the lion's share of the fouls, but they've also had more of the rough challenges with Huntsville throughout the game. There have been a handful of incidents where Chargers have gotten a little bit of contact with the Spartans, but nothing I'd say was super egregious, as there's a lofted ball to Smith, who will make the catch. Good effort by Endicott, but Smith is there for her second save. There were a couple of plays by Spartan defenders where they went a little bit too aggressively into people. That time, hard to tell, but I'd be leaning towards the no answer if I felt that that really did deserve a free kick. But the good news is no booking on the play either. Tampa's going to send the ball down the field now, headed forward, headed over. And the header streak ends at 2 in a row as the Chargers are going to win the ball back, deflected off the Spartans, and now they've got a chance on a counterattack. Tampa's got a few players in defense, but the Chargers won't be able to build anything more. Tampa not doing amazing trying to evade the midfield pressure, although they do have some nice passing to open some space. Played across the middle. Now played back out wide. Long-range effort. right at the edge of the box. Tampa playing out wide. Shot. Diving save by Sopa. The attack quickly developed into something dangerous. I think that might be Cronquist on that left side with a good look. But Sopa gets in front for her second save of the game and keeping us level at 0-0. That was a play that required a big save. And even though it was in our general direction as the goalie, at that velocity, those shots can be difficult to stop. Tampa's going to win the ball back and send it to the back line. And here we go. 60 minutes played, 30 minutes and counting yet to go. And there's already about 20 seconds expired here in the 61st minute. Now the Chargers headed to the middle of the field. They've got a little bit of space. Good move to dispossess a Spartan. Room from outside the box. Played across. Number 8 with a bit of room. Excellent tackle that time by Tampa to win it away. And even though the Chargers are going to get back on top of it, they've got it right by the corner. Here's a big cross into the box. Headed away. Good job getting in front of the pass by the Spartans. They'll clear it out. What should be a throw-in at the dangerous position. No corner kick here. Players staying outside the box, but it is close enough where you're sort of asking that question if it was a corner or not. The 21 with a little bit of space past one of the defenders, but will play it to the back line. Huntsville have a lot of players forward and 3 players sort of sitting in defense. Sent to the middle of the park. That's going to fall right back to a Spartan striker. Tampa doesn't have a lot of numbers, but they do have 1 player surging forward, looking for some open space. Cuts across, gets dispossessed, and the Chargers are back on the ball. This sort of balanced defensive setup for the Spartans, I think, has been doing good because it hasn't given the Chargers too many opportunities to capitalize on counterattacks. They haven't had too many point-blank opportunities either, as there's a long ball that's going to go out for a throw-in for the Spartans. They did force that to be deflected away by the Chargers. 63rd minute of action. And we're going to get our first substitutions of the half. And it looks like we will be getting a stop of the clock right here. Play ready to resume. 19 for 24. I believe the change is being made for Tampa, actually, because there's no 19 for Alabama Huntsville. Ella Armas into the game for Kendall Gooner. Gooner's had a pretty solid game in defense. We'll see what Armas can do. And that's going to stay with the Spartans off the clearance. So here we go. Tampa bringing it up to the edge of the box. That's a good move to dispel a defender, but 1 step behind the ball. Goal kick coming up. Tampa has been finding some good attacks. It feels like they haven't found too many of the final touches they need to really be lethal on goal. Now, as we continue in the game, do want to mention that during halftime, me and a few of the other people that were headed out to the field to get a little bit of soccer practice in ourselves, actually ran into a fan in the stands who has a daughter who is hoping to be a Tampa Spartan, could potentially play soccer here. So if we wanted to give the fan a shout out, never caught his name, unfortunately, but I think he's having a great time here at Peppett Stadium and want to offer that an invitation to any Spartan fans or even Alabama Huntsville fans watching. Granted, Alabama Huntsville is not scheduled to return to Peppett Stadium this season, but next time you do, it's always a nice night here at the University of Tampa. A good stadium. You can even try maybe some of the places on campus. And for any Spartan fans, we've got plenty of action at Peppett Stadium all season long, and we do hope to see you here sometime. Anyway, the Chargers is going to continue with a throw-in. Olivia Marlowe, the midfielder from Murfreesboro, is going to make this throw-in. While she's listed as a midfielder, she's been playing as the team's right back, it looks like, unless she's playing as a wing back in a 3-player backfield, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility with how they've set up. They've got 3 center backs sort of positioned on defense, but that might be a situation where one of them's an inverted fullback, playing a little bit closer to the center backs, and the other is the wing back pushing forward. Either way, the Chargers continuing this attack from the right side as we continue. 25 minutes and change still to go in the second half. Uh-oh.
I don't see a 20 on. I don't see a 20 on.
There we go.
29.
Good news, Spartans fans. Apologize. There's a quick little network hiccup, but we should be back live. If someone else is watching and is complaining about the quality, let them know to reload, and it should reload the stream. Anyway, you haven't missed much. Back and forth, and Spartans are going to get it back on defense. That's always the danger whenever the stream sort of cuts out, that there's going to be a goal or something crazy. But for now, business as usual, a stalemate in the midfield between the Spartans and Chargers. But we'll see if the Chargers can tip the scales. They've got the ball further down the field. They should be getting this throw-in right here. Huntsville have had 5 shots. Tampa's had 10, but both teams have only mustered 2 shots on goal. Smith and Zopa have both come up with clutch saves. Good work from the number 0 in goal for Huntsville, and great work from the number 1, Smith, open for the Spartans. Through ball sent down the line. And that's going to be picked up again by the Chargers. Chargers bring it down the right side. Played to the center of the park. Looking for some room. Looking for some space. Through ball. Picked up. Player diving into the box. And Smith will pick up her 3rd save on that low velocity shot on the ground. Tampa still in front. Smith continuing her stellar season. She was one of the best goalies in the Sunshine State Conference last year. That is not a trend that has changed to start this year. I need to pull up the numbers again, but she had a pretty ridiculous goals allowed average for a team that unfortunately hadn't given her that much support in terms of goal scoring, but this year has been the opposite story. 6 goals in the first 180 minutes for Tampa, and they are looking for goal number 7 to take the lead here today. Still all tied up, though, and here comes the Spartan throw-in. Substitution, I think, getting made for both teams.
Tampa is 11 for 16.
Nellie Brinus into the game for Callie Nobles. Meanwhile, Meta exits the game for now for Alabama Huntsville. They'll be bringing back in Michaela Tertelli. Fight for the ball in the box. Tampa wins it. A little bit of room. Cleared away. Good defense by the Chargers. And Tampa going to knock that out of bounds. Chargers win it back. And here we go with 22 minutes left to go.
I got him. No, I got him. Keep going. 21. I got her. 7. I got her. 3. I got. 24. I got. 9 I got. 17. All right. Thanks, bud.
So here we go. Throw-in coming up for the Spartans. For the Chargers. Still a stalemate. Tampa was gaining a little bit of momentum, but we'll see if now Alabama Huntsville can turn it around. Now back to the goalie. And now down the wing. Ooh, big challenge. No whistle, and it's going to go to the Chargers. And good challenge there by Gillespie, but definitely feels like Tampa might have missed out on the call. That time, that's a challenge that just gets a little bit too much. Wold, good job to win the ball right back. And I'm sure Allie Wold is happy that that wasn't blown a whistle that time around. She's done a good job in the midfield, a very flexible player in attack and defense, listed as a forward/defender. Always good to have utility players that you can play all across the field. Not to mention, oh, here's a through ball coming up for Tampa. That's going to be headed away. But Tampa stays on top after the header. Well, it's just the nature of the game, how quickly it moves. By the time I'm saying Tampa has it, they've already lost it. Although vice versa, that'll happen with the Chargers sometimes. Almost on this play. But enough pace opens up an opportunity down the wing before our Carlm clearance causes a throw-in. Carlm was hoping that was off the defender, but I do think at the 18 of Tortelli did enough to dodge it and keep possession with the Chargers. Throw-in coming in for the Spartans. Tampa bringing it down the field. Down the left. Down the wing. Shielding the ball. Good challenge at the edge of the box by Wold. That's going to go out for a corner kick. No foul called. The defender in a little bit of disbelief. But again, it looks like we've kind of gone back to that first half period of letting them play forward a bit more. That's going to be to the disappointment of the Chargers as Tampa prepares a short corner. A lot of people at the far post. But actually, they've got two players set for the corner. Will one of them take it? Yes, they will. Whipped in. Cleared away. Sort of a semi-bicycle kick there, but without the jump. And now the Chargers going to send that down the field. And that is going to go out for a throw-in. And it should be Tampa or no? It's hard to tell at this angle. Couple of changes being made, and actually it looks like it'll be the Chargers regaining possession. Must have clipped off a Spartan defender. Might be Del Toro entering the game for Bachelor or vice versa. Clock stops, and we've got 18 minutes left of action. So substitutions being finalized before the Chargers resume the game with a throw-in. Changes to the main stat sheet. Huntsville have had one more shot and one more shot on target. They've had 6 shots and 3 in the game. Tampa still at 10 shots and 2 on target. Chargers have to reset it with a goal kick. But can they get it past the Spartans in the midfield? Looks like they're finally able to bring it forward. But Tampa really turning the game around. Bringing the fight closer to the Chargers here in the second half. But again, neither team has found a chance to get on the scoreboard just yet. That's just out of reach of the 18. Throwing coming in for the Spartans. Definitely want to give a shout out to all the Spartan students and faculty who help make the games possible. This is a slightly easier event to cover than some of the weekend series we've had over the past week or so, like the Tampa Classic. But still, sometimes it's hard to find people to help for these games due to classes going on. So we're glad that some of the students taking some time out of their nights to come down to Pepin Stadium and help us out, whether it's on the sidelines or, of course, gathering all our photos and other trying to find the word, content for social media. Throwing coming in. It's going to stay with the Chargers. Went off the Spartans last. 16:30 to go in the game. That's going to be a throw-in coming in for Olivia Marlowe. You've seen a lot of Marlowe here in the second half on that right side. She's also been pretty active when the ball's been over there in the first half. Lights are on across the University at Tampa's Pepin Field, mainly from the floodlights right by the side of the field next to the Health and Technology Building. And I'm pretty sure there are still classes going on in the Health and Technology Building. I think some of the classes that started back at the start of the game are going to be coming to a close, and new classes are going soon. Some of the students might be in 4-hour-long classes as well. Tampa now into the box. Not enough room for Wold for the shot, but she's going to get it out for what will be a goal kick. Looked like it went out off the Charger defender, but the referee sees it go off Wold instead. Change being made. Entering the game now for the Spartans is the number 14. Mimi Cronquist back on the game for Lindsay Emerson, the sophomore from Voorhees, New Jersey. And now CC Zopa ready to resume play. 75th minute of action here at Pepin Stadium. Looking ahead for Tampa Spartans, I've mentioned it a few times today, but they'll be on the road opening on Sunday against Colorado Springs. It's probably University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. And then Colorado State Pueblo. So a trip to Colorado awaits the Spartans on Sunday and Wednesday before heading back to Florida and eventually back home on September 28th. Meanwhile, the Chargers are going to be active on Friday, taking on St. Leo, and then they'll be back home at Charger Park to kick off Gulf South Conference play against Trevecca Nazarene on the 20th. And by the way, for Chargers fans, that's a free admission game brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Admission's free. May as well go see the Chargers in person. Obviously, Spartan fans might not need to go, but if you're one of the fans listening in from Alabama Huntsville, that should be on your calendar, as now the Chargers get into the box. What a defensive stop. That's going to go out for a throw-in for the Chargers. Great defensive effort. I believe that might have been Carholm making the sliding stop in the box. Quick counterattack by the Chargers. You haven't seen a lot of that today. But we'll continue in a second. And by the way, of course, should mention that against Gulf South Conference teams, Tampa's 1-0 this season. As things stand, they'd be 1-0-1.
Tampa 7 for 2.
Throwing Huntsville again.
Oh, again?
Throw-in. Headed away from the box. That's going to be cleared all the way downfield. And headed away. Fight for the ball by the sidelines. Tampa's going to get it back on a throw-in.
This game has had like 150 goals.
Late game substitutions will still probably occur, and one of the recent rule changes this year for D2 play is that under 15 minutes to go, there is stoppages for every substitution. And that's a pretty smart adjustment to make, given that that's usually when you'll sometimes see tactical substitutions to try to stall the clock. So this will encourage coaches to only make substitutions if they make more sense for the actual personnel on the field. Long ball, headed all the way forward. Tampa's going to win it right back. Good tackle to win the ball right back. Now here come the Spartans. Down the right flank. Still knocking on the door. Still trying to find some room. That clearance is picked up. Big challenge. As Sopa runs out to pick it up. Bit scary for defender, attacker, and goalie. But Sopa ends up with the ball. By the way, looking back to September 2nd, 2022, the previous Spartan victory against Alabama Huntsville, Megan Hessel, the number 0, was the goalie for Tampa. But some of the players for Tampa that are on this roster did feature in that game, like Sophia Carlholm and Sydney Dennis. Dennis is since taking over the number 10 from Catherine Hostage, but back in 2022, Dennis was wearing the 11. And, of course, Mimi Cronquist was still on the team with the 14. She hasn't changed from that number. It was a defensive masterclass from the Spartans. Huntsville didn't even get any shots off. So, the goalie Megan Hessel was able to keep the clean sheet without making a save. Something that Smith has not had the luxury for. She's needed to come up with 3 saves so far as we enter the 79th minute of play. About to reach minute 80 and the 10-minute mark for this matchup. It's been a duel of the defenses, and so far neither team has seriously prevailed. Huntsville have had more shots on goal, but Tampa have had more attempts in total. Huntsville with the throw-in. Tampa, I think, prepping some substitutions. Actually, no, those are some students walking across campus. One of them was wearing red, so I wasn't sure if that was a sub getting ready for the next Spartans throw-in to enter the game. You do imagine that Tampa will have a few people ready when the time comes. Final few minutes. You want some of the rested legs to go back onto the field for the final push. Throw-in coming in for Alabama Huntsville. They are keeping the pressure on. Foul is actually called on the play. Tampa's going to set up a small wall, I believe, to try to get in front of what will be the free kick. So here comes a deep free kick. Whistle goes. That's hit onto goal. Bounced away from Smith. Smith dives and gets back on top of it. Great hustle after not initially getting it on top of it. So here we go with Smith able to send it down the field and reset play. Play through, Tampa into the box. Cronquist shot over the bar. Tampa strikes immediately on the counterattack. There's some size in the booth and on the sidelines. Cronquist was so close. The 11th shot of the game just off target for Tampa. Under 9 minutes remaining. We are in the 82nd minute of action. But now on another counterattack, here come the Chargers from the left wing. Looking for some space, but that pass won't find a teammate. There was no one behind the attacker. They'll pick it up in the midfield, though. That's going to be a throw-in for the Chargers. By the way, looking ahead for the University of Tampa, on Friday, Tampa begins their trip to Texas for volleyball. They'll be opening action in San Antonio against St. Mary's and East Central. They're the number 1 ranked team in the nation, have just come off a victorious weekend at the Tampa Classic. A lot of fun action, and they'll be at the Bob Martinez Center a lot of the matchups this season, and a lot of the Tampa teams will be back at Pepin Stadium. I mentioned it about a week ago, and Tampa kicked off their women's soccer season, but it's good to be back for Tampa Fall Sports. And thank you for joining us today on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network on Tampa Spartans TV. And again, if you can't get enough of Sunshine State Conference action, always feel free to tune in, because even if Tampa's not playing, some of our rivals and some of our conference teammate teams, as that's picked up by Sopa, our third save of the game off that long-range effort. And she'll get it set, sending it down the field again. Good effort from the Spartans, but not enough to evade the goalie. Their third shot on goal keeps us at 0. Foul, it looks like. Tampa going the other way. It could be a throw-in, though. Can't exactly tell. Thought the whistle went. No, it's just a throw-in. So Tampa trying to find some room. They haven't been able to. That is going to barely stay in play for the Chargers. Knocked out of play. It's going to stay with the Chargers now. 84th minute, still all tied up. A goal this late could be the one that determines who wins and who loses. And of course, if there is no goal, it'll determine that we have a draw. Long ball, headed away. Played out left. Lofted ball down the wing. And that is going to be just one step in front of the attacker, right to the defender. Now here comes the left side. Lofted into the box. And cleared away. Throw-in coming up. So Tampa's going to win the throw-in in the sidelines. And here it is, a long throw-in. Chargers cleared away. Tampa sends it back. Under 5 minutes to go. Blocked. Tampa trying to knock the ball clear, and they will send it back down the field. Both teams, I think, have been a little more aggressive for counterattacks late in the game, with 4 minutes to go. Very clear handball that time to stop the Chargers' attack. Tampa down the wing. Played across. Still looking for some space. Foul, and there we go. A little too much pressure on ball from the Huntsville number 4, Haley Bedingfield. The senior from Madison, Atlanta, was not giving the Spartans a lot of room to work, but that happened to be the problem. Getting a little too much contact in. So Carlin getting set for a free kick right here. That's lofted through the box, past the goalie, almost on target. The Spartans have had some very good long-range shots this year. Even just at the start of the season, we've had a couple of world-class strikes. However, that time around, just missed. Here comes Tampa, once again on defense, as the Chargers are going to bring it up the right side. This is the time where teams have to really judge if they want to get aggressive. Smith able to clear and get in front of the through ball. That's not a shot on target. It's just a long pass. Here comes a long kick coming up from Aiden Smith. Smith is probably the player of the game for the Spartans, thanks to some more strong plays in goal. Sopa, same thing, player of the game for Alabama Huntsville, including a pretty big diving save earlier, too, and one deflection over the bar. Now, Tampa's going to get it with a little bit of space outside the box. They'll play it out to the right, lofted all the way in, but that bounce sends it out for a goal kick. 2 minutes to go, 120 seconds left to play. No teams making substitutions at the moment. Looks like the 11 on the field for both teams will wrap up the 90 minutes right here and right now. We've seen some buzzer beaters before. We've seen some last-second goals before. Be heartbreak for one side, joy for the other. Throwing coming in for the Chargers, and they will get an opportunity right here with 90 seconds on the board. Should mention that if you're watching the stream, it's that bottom left clock that is synced up with the one in the field on the stream. The one that's on the scoreboard is, I think, 1 or 2 seconds ahead with some of the camera delay. So it's when that bottom left one hits 0. At this game will come to a close, and you will hear the final whistle as Smith picks up what could be the final Chargers chance of the night. And it indeed is the night on the University of Tampa campus. Wednesday night now. Some of these students who are playing today might have classes on Thursday morning, as they're going to be dispossessed as the ball goes to the back line. Back to Aiden Smith, a minute to win it. That is a almost costly clearance. Smith picks it back up. Spartan player still down on the ground. I believe that might be Sydney Dennis. Through ball down the wing. It's going to go out for a throw for Alabama Huntsville. And looks like, for good news at least, only might be cramping for Dennis. Obviously, hydration is key, even for a broadcaster like myself. But for the players in the field, it definitely going to be a problem. Just needing to stretch it, but that's the good news at the moment. When it's getting stretched, it's more of a positive sign that it's just a small cramp rather than anything too serious. I don't think she went down on a challenge at all. When we resume, we'll have 37 seconds left to play. Time winding down. Hopefully Sydney Dennis is all right. Helped off the field, I believe. Some cramping was the issue on that play, but might be something more. Hopefully nothing too serious. Dennis is an important part of our Spartans team. Tampa might have the final chance here with 30 seconds to play. Play down the right wing. Sent across. Deflected forward. Handball. That's going to be a dangerous free kick for Tampa, but time is of the essence. 17 seconds, 15 seconds. They'll have to set it up quickly. I don't know if they'll stop the clock or not, which means Tampa is going to need to get this quick kick off. Lofted onto goal, and that's going to go with the back of the net! At the buzzer! With the clock at 0, Tampa takes the victory at Pepin Stadium. A true buzzer beater to make it 3-0 for Tampa in 2024. I couldn't tell who was taking it as they were rushing, but the hustle to get the kick off did enough for the Spartans to secure victory.
26.
Some of the players were getting onto the field, but they have to get off because we still have what should be 5 seconds left, as the referee is mentioning. We didn't stop the clock in time, but unless they hit a world-class strike out of the kickoff, Tampa will take a 1-0 victory here today. But indeed, there will be 5 seconds to play with when the whistle goes and we resume. Or actually, is it going to be 4? Trying to see what the referee is saying. Yes, 4. I only see 4 fingers up. We were about to add 1 extra second. What a goal, though, for the Spartans. I believe it's Tally O'Leary who just had that goal. Oh. There we go. We're adding 4 seconds onto the scoreboard now. I think when we were initially... Yeah, no, that should be 4 seconds. We're about ready to resume. Again, we do apologize for the delay, but you can see Alabama Huntsville. Everyone is about to run forward. 4 seconds on the board. 1-0, Spartans lead. Effort from all the way deep, but Smith is going to watch it sail wide. That's the final whistle. Tampa, with a buzzer beater, takes their 3rd victory of the season. And off an impeccably taken free kick, Tampa are going to take their 2nd win of the season against a team from the Gulf South Conference. A great way to end the night for the number 11th ranked Tampa Spartans. That is an absolutely brutal defeat for Alabama Huntsville. They held Tampa scoreless the entire game, but with the second to last kick of the match, Tampa finally get it in the back of the net against Sopa, and Tampa wins 1-0. And I believe we can confirm, I'm not 100% sure if it is, but at the moment we have it scored as Tally O'Leary as the sayonara hero for the Spartans. Definitely player of the game for that game-winning goal. But of course, you can't fault the efforts of Aiden Smith, who kept a clean sheet for the 3rd time this season. So Tampa improves to 3-0. Disappointment for Huntsville. They are now 1-2 on the season, but those are only 2 tough defeats against 2 tough teams. Best of luck for the Chargers in the rest of the season. They've got a strong side, and I have a feeling they'll be back in the win column sooner rather than later. But for Tampa, they'll be on the road to Colorado looking to make it a 5-0 start to the season as they might continue to climb up the national rankings. Well, for everyone here at Pepin Stadium, I'm Taylor Storey. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time for more Spartans Sports on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.